clients. So acquiring new clients is probably the biggest struggle when it comes to anybody in the sales industry. How do you get leads? How do you get people to listen to you? Go knocking on doors. 9 times out of 10, people see someone knocking on their door with a clipboard and look all dressed up. They say immediately, this person's trying to sell me something. I don't want to talk to this person. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to close the door on them. No, guys, look, you need to get your message across. You need to be eloquent, and you need to be an expert. So when you go in with the mentality that you're an expert in your field and you know something that they don't, which is true. I definitely know a lot more about the insurance industry than any average person that doesn't know anything about insurance, especially younger people that are very unfamiliar with how insurance works and what they need, their needs for insurance. So it's important to go in with that mentality. Say, hey, look, I have something here. This is important. You need to listen to me. I am an expert. When you go in with that mentality, it changes a lot about what happens during that sale or that conversation. People are willing to listen to you, and once people are willing to listen to you, then you take control of the conversation. You take it wherever you want it to go. Excuse me. So that's really, really important, guys. Don't ever go in there intimidated and not confident. So the most important thing is to go in person. In my opinion, it's how I've had the most success walking into a business, looking somebody dead in the eye and saying, hey, what's going on? How are you? I work with Adelphia Insurance. Now look, I have something here. It's very, very important for you to take a look at, etc., etc. I want to compare your rates across the market. Just want to make sure you're not overpaying, and let's see if there's anything we can do for you. Everyone's got different pitches. That's just something that I just thought off the top of my head. But obviously, I would take a good amount of time breaking that down, thinking of the objections that people have. A lot of times people might say, no, like, sorry, I got to talk to my wife, if it's a guy, or I got to talk to my husband. I completely understand. Now look, every time you go to the grocery store, do you call your husband? Do you call your wife to kind of make it a little funny, you know? Just say, completely understand, but look, you don't call your girlfriend, your wife, your husband about every single decision you make, right? Come on, let's be real here. You got to make it a little funny and make it interactive, because if you say, like, do you call your wife for everything? Then you just sound like a douche, and you don't want to be a douche. You want to have rapport with somebody. You want to build rapport. So make sure you're kind of funny with it. I completely understand. Do you call your wife for everything? Do you call her when you go to the grocery store? Come on, let's be real here. Be a reasonable person. So everyone is willing to listen to somebody who's reasonable, and that kind of comes down. Not everyone has it. It's something you might have to work on. The tonality of it is important, but make sure you study and practice objections. So in person, very important. You go in person, talk to the person, see them face to face, and most likely they're going to like you more if you're face to face. If you call somebody on a cold call, it's a lot faster dialing. So there's there's two sides to it. You could either cold call somebody, and you could do 10 in 15 minutes, or you could walk in to 5 businesses in 15 minutes, depending on where you're at, your time, different options. So you have to evaluate that yourself. I would allocate a certain amount of time a day for cold calling and a certain amount of time for walking in and talking to people face to face. At the same time, that also gives you kind of flexibility and different stuff to do. You don't want to be doing the same thing all day, dialing numbers. It's boring. It gets boring. You lose concentration, and it's cool to change it up. It also probably makes you overall happier with your job. You're going to actually get in to talk to people, and so that's where I'm at. Another option is texting, emailing, audio messages, and I'm not a fan of those at all. I personally think that those are not nearly as effective as talking to someone in person. So definitely evaluate your strengths. If you're very, very good at writing, allocate a little time there, you know. But personally, as far as anybody in sales, you could probably ask them the same thing. They'll probably answer the same answer. The best thing you can do is be in person or on the phone. You get somebody talking to you live. Another very, very important thing is social media, leveraging your social medias and your brand and whatever it is that you are, yourself, leveraging yourself on social medias. So I think this is probably one of the most important things right now that people are underestimating. A lot of people's attentions have shifted away from TVs, from commercials, different types of advertising, and everyone's on their phones. The other day I was inside a Starbucks. I was in the Starbucks and I looked around, and I swear on my life, guys, I swear I looked around, and every single person, except there was probably like 15 people in this Starbucks. It was a pretty big Starbucks. I looked around and probably 15 people were on their phones, literally looking at their phones or their computer. And the only people in that store that were not looking at their phones or their computer was me and the workers. And probably those workers have their phones, are pulling out and looking at it too, you know? So the point I'm trying to make is every single person's attention is shifted away from TV commercials, all these other bullshit billboards, etc., and they're looking at their phones. This is a great opportunity right now because all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, where probably, I would guess, I know this is probably just an assumption, but I would say 50% of the people that were looking at their phones were probably looking at Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, or Twitter. And I would bet money on that. Or they had just looked at it within the last 5 minutes. Anybody that wants to take that bet, call me. Obviously, there's no way to test that ever, but I would be willing to bet that. So the point I'm trying to make here is there's a huge opportunity. Wow, this person is just riding my ass right now. Come on, man. The point I'm trying to make is there's a huge opportunity for undervalued attention. It's free. If you run ads, they're extremely cheap. Oh wow, this person's just passing me. Wow, dang, dude. If you run ads on Facebook, they're not that expensive. If you run ads on Instagram, about the same price as Facebook, since Facebook owns Instagram. YouTube, not super familiar on how to run ads on YouTube, but creating content and just putting it out there, it's all free, so take advantage of it. It's just a matter of time these major businesses come in, Coca-Cola, BMW, AT&T, etc. All these major companies come in and they're going to take over the advertising side of these social medias that are currently free and super underpriced for ads. So I think it's really important that people take advantage of those. And another thing about those, not only take advantage of those, but people need to be aware that it's not necessarily all about taking a picture, posting it. There's more to it. I say that the most effective way is video. If you're watching this right now, it's proof. The most effective thing is actually seeing somebody live. You want to see them, talk to them, hear them, look them in the eyes. And, it's better than a text. It's better than a picture. It's better than a podcast. I mean, podcasts are cool too, but it's nice to see somebody live and actually interact. I mean, I've seen the most success through